So guys, today you can see we have three main protocols, three important protocols which will be used in our Cisco devices. So first of all, I will give a short explanation about these three protocols. So one is like syslog, another one is an NTP, and the third one is an SMTP. So what is syslog? So you guys might be aware. So all the devices which we use will have a logs. What is logs actually? Log in the sense, whatever the action you perform, the what your action performing, that in back end of your device, it will take a logs as what you are performing. If you are installing any, if you are installing any application, or if you are using any commands, and wherever you use where you use the commands, and what is the time, what the action you are performing, everything will be stored in the devices in the name of logs. So if for example, if something goes wrong, or if you want to find what is the exact issue, for example, if router goes down or router link goes down, you want to know what is the exact issue, why it goes down. It might be a port issue, it might be a cable issue, it might be a protocol issue, or whatever it is. You can, there might be a log which is stored in a background, so that you can come to know what is the exact issue. So this is actually used for the network administrator to know why the devices goes down, what is the exact issue which we are facing. Okay, this is what the SS log. And if we go into the NTP, NTP is a network time protocol. So in routers there is a time, right? So it's very important where we have a time. The reason is, uh, for example, it is in a India time. Okay, but the user will be using the GMT, means Greenwich Mean Time. It's in a UK time. So what happened is, we are is our India time is like GMT plus 5:30. Okay, but GMT is like 00. So for example, now if here it's a example, you can take, if it is a 1 o'clock in GMT, it's a 7:30 a.m. Okay, 7:30 a.m. GMT. So likewise, the time is very much important according to the location which you are using. If you are in India, you're using India time is fine, but it depends. Most probably everyone uses GMT. The reason is it's a standard time, it won't be changed. Okay, so that's why we use as NTP, and for the logs also, syslog we use as a time, right? So for the time we need to set, sometime we will set, and sometime what happened is it will take from the server. We have a system NTP server as well. From the NTP server, the time will be saved there. For example, I have multiple devices. Every time I don't want to save the, means I want to change the time. It might be differ if you change the time, and if you set the same time also in seconds, it will be changed. But if it is synced with the server, NTP server, what happened is the the device will sync with the server, and will have a same time in all the devices. That's why we use go for the NTP. And if you go for SMTP, it's a management protocol. Okay, so sorry, it's on SM, it's not an SMTP, sorry, it's an SNNP. Okay, we'll change that one. It's an SNNP, it's a management protocol. So for managing the means for monitoring and all, we use this management protocol. We have different managers, SNMP managers, SNMP servers. So this protocol is used for mainly for monitoring the device. If something goes wrong in the device, it automatically detects, and it will produce an alarm. So this is a monitoring tool. Actually, it's a protocol also. It worked as a monitoring tool inside the device. So all the device will have this SNNP server. Okay, so here I need to change as an SNNP. I will change it after this class. Okay, so we'll go for next. You can see what is syslog. Here in syslog, you can see it's an syslog is a standard logging protocol. Okay, it's a standard logging protocol. What is logging? Logging means what are the things we do in the router will be saved in the background. so that if you can want if you want to know what is the exact issue and what is going on, so you can check the server. Means this dot these sometimes it's stored in a device, sometimes it will be stored in a server. Okay, so syslog is a standard logging protocol used to send log messages from networking devices, servers and applications to a centralized syslog server. That's what I mentioned, right? So it also it's also stored in a device as well. Okay, for example, you can see the Cisco router support syslog. Okay, here the Cisco router supports the syslog, allows you to configure and send log messages to a syslog server. Okay, for why we use this? For monitoring and troubleshooting purpose. Okay, who will monitor and who will troubleshoot? The network admin will do this monitoring and troubleshooting. Okay, and syslog is typically used for a network management and security audit. So what is meant by network management? It's management type. So what is the name? What that's what I said initially. To know what is the exact issue, so network management uses and security audit. So sir, there is something like audit every year it will happen for the security audit. So something, for example, if we did anything error or we something goes wrong, and everything will be stored in the audit. I means in the syslog. So the audit will come to know how many time the device goes down and what is the issue. So there might be a cost cascading is there. So it depends on the customer will have some SLA, service level agreement. So what they will do is like they according to agreement, if for example I'm telling, if it is like 10 time, if it goes down, it's fine for them. If it is goes more than that, sorry, sorry guys, so if it is goes more than that, what will happen is like it will be a payable to the customer. Okay, it will be a penalty for them. So the security audit will be based on this syslogs. Okay, syslog uses the UDP port number. Here the syslog uses the UDP and the port number is 514. Okay, so you can see there are two types devices can be configured to forward the syslog message to various destination. So initially this is what I said before. So buffer means that these syslog messages will be shared, which will be stored in an internal memory. Okay, internal memory buffer. So we have a internal memory devices like what is that, RAM, ROM and all, right? So it will be stored in an internal memory buffer. Okay, and if you go to the syslog, next second is a syslog, there is a centralized server where your syslog, whatever you do, the all the logs will be stored in your server or syslog server. So multiple devices will be devices logs will be stored in a server. Got it? So next next is like, so here a basic overview of how to configure syslog on a Cisco router. Okay, so you can see access the Cisco router. What is access to the access router? Uses a terminal emulator. What is terminal emulator? You know, guys, you guys know putty. You guys uses putty, right? So here Terra term also a, it's like a putty. It's a CLI device. Means command line interface of a Cisco router. So we can access the syslog with the help of Cisco router with means with the help of the putty. Okay, this is a terminal emulator. Okay, and we want to get enter into the enable mode, means privilege mode. What is that privilege mode? You can see first of all we will give enable, right? So if it is a normal a router, so first we will enable into the router. So next we go to the global configuration mode. How do we go to the global configuration mode? It's a configuration terminal. That's what we will do. You guys are aware of, right? We saw so many labs, so we'll aware of that. Okay. So next, like then configuring the syslog. So you can see after entering into the global configuration mode, we enter into the syslog, and you can see enter the syslog configuration mode and specify the syslog server IP. We can mention the syslog server IP so that the logs will be stored in a server. Okay, you can also set severity level for the syslog messages. So you can set the severity level of the syslog messages. We can start from 0 to 7. Okay, if it is an emergency, we will mention as 0. If it is a debugging means for getting the logs, we it will be like it will be like 7. Okay, depends on the severity. We'll see the severity levels as well. So we can see the logging host. Okay, with us, okay, this is a command logging host, and where I want to store, this is my 192.168.1.1 is my server, syslog server IP. So there it will be stored, and you can see logging trap and informational. That's what there is some severity levels we'll see in next slides. So it will be depends on the severity. It will trap informational means it will be like for an info what to say. So if we want to see the actual logs, so you can go with the informational. So you can see in the bill in the above example, replace 192.168.1.1 with an actual IP address for your syslog server. We can change, it's an example, and informational can be replaced with the desired severity level. Okay, understood? So we go with the next slide. So fifth one is an optional. This is an optional one. If you want, you can so do it. Configure logging buffer. So you can configure a local logical as a logging buffer to store a log message on a router itself. It's an local. You can store it in a log router log itself. Okay, log in the router itself. This is useful to for storing a logs even if syslog server is unavailable. For example, if you have a big setup, you have syslog server, then you can go with the syslog server. If there is no big setup, we have one or two routers, then in the router itself you can store the means logs. Okay, even if you reboot the device also it will be there. If you're not restarting it means resetting it. Okay, so you can see the command logging buffer, and what is the buffer size? It's in a bits actually, 4096. It's in a 2 to the power. Okay, so if it exists more, it shows the buffer size is completed. If it is buffer size is not there, so there might be a logs we will receive if the buffer size is over. Okay, and you can't able to access. Okay, then next is like this is an exit configuration. You guys know that this is last exit configuration from the router. So if you give end, it will goes. And next is we can write the configuration. So save the configuration is a write memory, or you can give write, if you can give w itself it will work. So this is how we will save the configuration. Okay, you can see the now your Cisco router is configured to send a syslog message to the specified syslog server. Okay, or is to the internal buffer. Adjust the setting based on the specific requirement and security policies. So if the customer is having security policies, they have syslog server, then we can go with syslog server. If they have simple setup, we can store it in a router itself. Fine. So this is these are all the severity levels. We can see the severity level starts with emergency 0, and 1 as an alert, 2 as an critical, 3 as an error, 4 as an warning, and 5 as a notice, 6 as an informational, and 7 as an debugging. So the keywords you can see, you can use instead of severity levels, names like emergency, alert, critical, error, warning, notice, information, and debugging. So these messages will be visible with an example like system is unusable. What why we use system is unusable, and next is action must be taken immediately for the alert one, and if it is a critical, then critical conditions, and if it is an error message. Okay, so just go through it for some 10 seconds. Okay, guys, you got it? Shall we go for next slide? Hello. Yes, we go for next slide. Then, so how the syslog messages, you can see this is an example of a syslog message uh, which we receive in the router. So what you see, the first is a priority. Okay, what is the number which is priority number under the means sequence number which we see in the router. So next is the time. Okay, this is what the time which is mentioned. Okay, so where is that? So sorry guys. So next is where is okay, here. So you can see this is a time when NTP we will about to change this. So it depends on the region and the requirement. And you can see this is a router host name, and this is the actually log which we get. Okay, so how what we are doing and everything we can see here. So this is an example. You can see 134 is represent the priority. Okay, where 134 is a number numerical value calculated for facilitate and severity, facilitate and the severity, facility and the severity. Okay, so next is a timestamp. What is the timestamp we are using? And third one is the host name. You can see this is an host name, and the name of the router might be whatever it is a name, it's mentioned here. And fourth one is a syslog. Okay, this is the syslog. So till this syslog is a syslog message content. Actually, what is the error and what is the issue, and what are all the things we are facing, everything is over there. Okay, so we go next. Okay, and you can see this is the severity levels, means this is what the there in the the logs. Actually, you can see the typically Cisco router typically uses a traditional syslog message format which is based on RF 31464. The format is includes the following content. So first we see the priority and severity. So the priority is a numerical value calculated based on the facility and severity of the message. Okay, and the severity level indicates the importance of the message, emergency, alert, critical. You see right before in the previous slide. So and the for example is 134 is an example, and the timestamp, the date and time when the event occurred. Okay, so when the issues occurred, when the change is occurred, we see the timestamp, the second one. And third is a host name, the name of the device that is generated the log message. So that is an host name. Okay, in any name, for example, if we give R1, R2, Chennai, Bangalore, uh, Hyderabad, everything which it's a router host name. Then the message content, the actual message content or an event description. So you can see what is happening. This we have configured. How we configured from the console. What is console? We directly connected the uh, cable in the device, and we configured. Who configured his name, that this user is a username. It might be differ. For example, if I changed my name in the device, it's a username. And VT means virtually telnet. It's with via putty or any terminal devices, virtual telnet. So we will use which with this one. And what is the IP we used? This is the IP we used for 192.168.1.1 to login. Okay, this is a command. And log into the server Cisco sorry, syslog server verification command. This is a verification command. And between, if it is in a syslog server, then we need to uh, then we need to confirm, when we need to log into the device and we need to pull the logs. Okay, syslog server will have authentication, like we need to give username and password, then we log in. And for this command is show login. This is the command which is used. We can check this logs in the device or a server. Okay, then we go for a next slide. Next is an first which get done. The second is an NTP. What is NTP? It's a network time protocol. This is also a protocol. What is the protocol in here? Protocol will use no set of rules and regulations which is created by us. Okay, so this is a NTP protocol for the time management. What is the work of NTP? Actually, manually setting the clock of a network device is neither accurate nor scalable. Okay, so the best practice is used to NTP. The what's that? That's what best practice is to use NTP, because the logs may be depends on the timings. Example, if the device goes down in a particular timing, client may ask why the device is down at the time. Okay, then we want to check the device why it is goes down, any protocol issue, any port issue, or any physical cable issue, or any error in the network, whatever it is, everything is in the logs, syslogs. So for checking that, we need a accurate time when it is, when it we have this issue, or if the finish changes happen, we need to know proper timing to do the change. Change means we are doing some changes, we are adding and removing some protocols like OSPF, means routing protocols, or anything happens in the device, that we have a logs. So we need a perfect timing for that to know when when this is happened. So that's why this an NTP is required. Okay, so next is like the configurations. So how to set the date and time? So you can see the configuration, first one. So clock set, then hours, minutes, seconds. Okay, then date, date, a month and year. So this is a format to set the time in this in the NTP. So how to verify? Show clock is the command used to verify the date and time, NTP. Okay, so next, so how the NTP, what is actually NTP, how it works, you can see with an example, with an explanation. So NTP is a network time protocol. It is used to synchronize the time throughout the network devices. So not only single device, throughout the network devices. For example, if it is configured in a server, which is connected with the router, switches, and wireless access point, etc. So what will happen is all the devices will have a same device which is synchronized with the server. So to synchronize their clocks with a central source clock. So it means centralized server or centralized any source clock is there, it will be synchronized with the device, and you get the time. Okay, so NTP works on UDP port number 123. So what is the syslog NTP device, NTP UDP port? It's a 514, right? So likewise here it's a 123 for both the source and destination by default. Okay, so NTP can correct time from internal and external source. It will be get corrected internal and external source depends on the server. Okay, so normally a router and or a switch will run in an NTP client mode, which means that will be adjust the clock based on the NTP server. Yes, you got it right. So if NTP server is configured, so that the client which is a client mode, the router and switches are there, it automatically adjust the clock timings based on the server. Okay, so so next you can see the NTP configuration. So how the first we saw is like setting the clock, and if it is in an NTP server, how we configure the NTP server? So NTP server and server IP address. Okay, that's what we redirecting to the server. Here you can see an NTP server we can mention as 8.8.8. It's a Google server, so it automatically checks the Google server timing, and it will change the timing of the server, means the client, means the router. Got it? Next, you can use these commands: show clock, show NTP associations, and show NTP status. So these are all the commands used for verification the clock timings. Okay. So next is an SNNP. This is what actually initial I have made a small error. It's a SMTP. So it's an SNNP, simple network management protocol. Okay, what's that? Simple network management protocol. Name itself, it is there. It's a simple network management protocol. So what is the work of it? We can see it's an application layer protocol. Okay, uses the UDP port number 161. So till now we see three protocols, all are with a UDP port number. UDP, all your users UDP. So first one is, it's a 514. Okay, syslog. And second is an NTP, it uses 123 as a UDP port number, and NTP uses a UDP port number of 161. Okay, 161. It provides a message format for communication between network devices or agents. Okay, we can call a network device also as an agents, and network managers, network manager. Let's see in upcoming slides. So what is the components or there, sorry, in SNNP component. So SNNP managers, it is software that collects information from the devices. Okay, so what is it? SNMP manager, it is a software, okay, that collects information from devices. So the work of SNMP manager is to collect the information from the devices, which uses an application, sorry, software, both are same. Okay, so SNNP agent, so SNNP agent enables network devices. So what are the network devices? Routers, switches, and servers. So actually, what is the work of the SNNP is like management information base. Okay, contains the information of an objects, of information of a variable. So it collects the informations from the network agents, routers, switches, and servers, and know what is going on. It's like monitoring server. Okay, it is used for management protocol. It's a management protocol. Okay, so you can see there are some versions in SNNP. First is an SNNP version 1. So where it's actually used for security purpose as well. So you can see original SNP, it's a initial SNP version which has an RFC, means standard of RFC 1157, and security level is less comparing with other versions, and it uses a UDP as a transport protocol. Okay, and it uses MB1 include MB12 and others. So these are all like SNMP version 1. Okay, and the features all there. Just go through it. If any doubt, just you ask me. Just give a minute to check this. So we'll go with the next slide. There is a SNMP version 2. Okay, so how the SNMP version 2 will work? You can see SNMP version 2 will enhance some of the extra features comparing with the SNMP version 1. This also work with the UDP protocol. Okay, it's a handling error model. Okay, and it is also based on some authentications and access control. So some of the support, it is the features are like it supports 64-bit counter. Okay, not the SNMP version 1 won't support the 64-bit counter. Okay, and SNP version 1 with version 2 committee is based on the security. Okay, version 2 is more secure than the version 1. Okay, so we go for next SNMP version 3. You can see this is an SNMP version 3. The main difference is it's an enhanced security features. It has enhanced security features, and it adds the message integrity, authentication, and privacy. It supports multiple security levels, okay, and views. Okay, it uses TCP or UDP, any protocols as a transport layer in transport protocol. Okay, before the previous one, version 2 uses only UDP. Here it uses both UDP and TCP. Okay, and the features are like strong authentication and encryption. So strong authentication means like we have authentication servers, AAA servers and all. So what we'll do, uh, it will be do authentication like with the help of username and password. For that we have a AAA, we have centralized server for username and password. If it is only a router, we have a enable password, and we have means we have a policies. So it depends on this, we'll do authentication. So encryption, you guys might be aware of encryption, but I will give a short example here. So encryption means it will put a packet inside the if you have a data, it will put some other packets above this data, so you can't find what is the exact information inside the message. So it will be like in any format, like ABCD, whatever it is, it's combined, and at last it will be decrypted by the end user, and you can see the message. In between, whoever try to hacks or whoever try to see our information, they can't do it, because if they see also, they can't understand what is the exact message inside the packet. Okay, this is what encryption. So it uses a security model, USM. Okay, improved error handling and notification, and it has an enhanced feature of SNMP version 2. Okay, you got it. So and then the importance of SNMP. Okay, so the important it's an important to note, SNMP version is a more secure and feature rich version of SNMP. Okay, and it is recommended for use in modern network environment. First of all, okay, SNMP version 1 and version 2 are older and having security limitation. That's why we go for a version 3. So they are generally not recommended to use unless there is a specific compatibility requirement, because some of the old devices will support version 2, but nowadays everyone goes for version 3 because of security features. Okay, the choice of SNMP version depends on the security and feature needs for the network management environment. So why we use the choice of SNMP version is depends on the security features and depends on the network management environment. Got it? So next. So this is how the configuration. So you can see SNMP server community, or the server what we store, and you have a string number. Okay, and we have a arrow means write versions. So next is like SNMP server host. For this is for the host. So server IP address we need to mention for this, and version SNMP version we want to mention the means version 1 or 2 3, and then a string value. So SNMP version enables the traps. It means we started enabling SNMP in the device. Okay. So you can see this one configuration, how to configure. So this router we take in as an router configuration, and you can see the router means this computer address as an same in the same subnet. So this is how we configured in the SNMP. Okay. So next. So this is also a configuration of SNMP server. So how we configure SNMP server community public RW. Okay, we giving right authentication. So SNMP server host name. This is a host name for that example we say, right? Host is 202.10 version SC public, and SNMP server enable trap, then exit. So if we do this, this SNMP will be means the host means logs will be stored in the SNMP means router. Okay. Next is like these are the commands to check the verification. So what is going on in the SNMP? So show SNMP community, show SNMP host. Okay, these are the verification commands. So that's it, guys, for today. So any questions?
No, sir.